Hello, welcome to Women's Strength. I'm glad you're here. So for this class, it'll be 30 minutes. Dumbbells, your size, weight, whatever you like, you can use those. That's what I recommend. They're kind of the easiest to hold. If you don't have dumbbells, you can use water bottles, two of the same weight, so probably full. Would work as well. Soup cans. You can also use different styles of bands. So there's these types of bands that don't have handles that you can use kind of like a ribbon. And you have the bands that have the handles as well. I'll use them a little bit today just to kind of show how you can use them, but I primarily am going to use the weights, like I said, just because they're easier for most people to handle, to move around with, and to manipulate, basically. We're going to do each of the moves for 1 minute-ish. If we're doing one side, we'll do 30 seconds-ish on each side. We got 5 moves standing up, and then we're going to come down to the floor and do some work on the floor. All the moves on the floor for this program today, you can also do with your hands against the wall or your back against the wall, and I'll show those options as well. But if you do want to go to the floor a little bit later on, make sure you got a mat close by. I got mine close by, so you can grab it once we're done standing. All right, so let's get started. We're going to do about a 2-minute warm-up just to get things moving, warmed up, get us ready so we can move our muscles without hurting ourselves. So just finding a spot, making sure our shoes are tied, and marching in place. I'm going to encourage you to breathe a lot during this class. If you've been to my classes before, you know I talk about the breath. The breath is very important, very underrated in our overall health and how it helps us, especially when we're working. So we can use the breath to our advantage to help us get through some of the harder parts or to help us work more efficiently. All right, let's get those knees a little bit higher. Start to get the arms moving, pumping as well. You can always put on your own music in the background. If you follow me on Spotify, you have access to all my playlists. Otherwise, you can just put on something else that you enjoy. For now, we're going to step touch side to side. Step touch. Arms are optional once you get the feet, but I do encourage you to add the arms so we warm up those shoulders. We're just starting to lift the heel up towards our glutes, warming up the backs of the legs. Trying to lift those heels as high as we can behind us. And heart rate should be starting to elevate. Maybe already starting to feel, I know as I'm talking, I'm already starting to feel like, oh, it's getting a little bit harder to talk now. Good, we're just gonna cross behind a power skate. So the toes tap behind the other foot. The lower you get, you're gonna start to work a little harder. We can add that swing of the arms like we're pushing ourselves down the ice surface. Starting to think about our core. So always keeping the core strong to protect our back, to give us stability so we can balance in our movements. That's also where our power comes from. So just that feeling that we put on a corset or some Spanx, just a gentle pulling into the belly button. It's not a hold, it's not a sucking in, it's just a little bit of a hold, a little bit of stability. Good, let's tap the heels in front. Maybe some bow and arrow arms. If you can get it, if not, whatever you can do. Good, just about 15 more seconds and we'll get into our first move. Already starting to feel a little out of breath, which is good. That's where we want to be. Good, coming back to that march. Let's take a nice deep breath here. Lift the shoulders up, exhale. Set them down. Let's get our weights. So you might want to have a few different weights available to you. We're going to start nice and wide. We're going to do a movement. We're going to do each side. So we're going to do 30 seconds on each side. We're going to lift up and we're just going to bend the knee, come across like we're placing something in a basket. Pick it up off the shelf, put it in a basket. That's it. It's a woodchopper movement. So it's a cross-body movement. So we're working the core. Obviously, we're working the legs, especially because we're bending the knee and then pushing that foot into the floor to come back up. And we're working the arm and shoulder to lift that weight. Now we don't have to lift that high. We can pull back. Maybe we don't even lift at all. So listening to your body. Good, just a few more on this side. Really pushing that foot to come back up. Let's do one more here. Good, let that arm come down. Reset side two. Come across the body. Knees and toes pointing or facing the same direction to keep your knees safe. That'll also help keep the ankles safe. We got that core on. So just that gentle pulling into the belly button to stabilize yourself. I'm sure you'll notice the difference if you're doing it or not. Good, again, a couple more on this side. And last one. Good work. Whew. All right, let's bring those weights down. We're gonna balance. I'm gonna give you the option to keep the toes down. All we're gonna do is tip a little bit, lift the arms out to the side. It's a bit of an airplane. Option to lift the toes and come up into that airplane. It's gonna make you a little more wobbly, as you can see. We gotta brace a little more. We're just lifting up just behind the shoulder line. Working the shoulders a bit and the back. Good, one more on this side. And then we're just gonna lift up, change sides, ground ourselves. And again, you can keep that foot on the floor, tip over, lift up. You wanna add that little lift. Good. Core is on. You'll notice my stronger exhale here. That helps me. Good. Two more on this side. Last one. And then come on up. We're gonna come to a squat position, about hip distance so we can have the weights just outside our hips. Palms face in, brace, sink down into your chair. Back is long, neck is long. Come up and lift. So we sink, and then we work those triceps. So the arms are straight without locking the elbow. Think about lifting kind of from the elbow. So we engage the back of the arms. Those three muscles in the back of our arms that help us to push. Strong feet here. Pushing into the floor, help us rise, allowing us to come down with stability. Shoulders are relaxed, neck is long. Obviously, we're here for the full minute because we're doing both sides at the same time. Just a few more here. Keep it coming. Feeling those triceps. One more. Good work. Okay, we're gonna find a warrior one stance. So let's take our left leg forward. So you'll be opposite to my stance on the screen here. Back leg's about 45 degrees. I want the heel down so you have a nice stable base. Front knee's bent, just not pushing past the toes. Resting the hand on that thigh, we're gonna lean over. Other arm's gonna hang. We're gonna brace, pick up that belly button. We're gonna pull the elbow back towards the hip. And then keeping the knee bent, we're just gonna come up and do a little curl. So a little bit of movement in the upper body only. Legs are staying the same. It's just a hinge forward and then a pick back up. Working the back as we squeeze shoulder blade, working the bicep as we tuck in the elbow, just lifting up towards our shoulder. Strong feet here. Back leg just as strong as the front, so we're not dumping everything in this front leg. Again, the elbow pulls back towards the hip, so it's tucked in nice and close. Last one on this side. And then we're just gonna change to the other side. Other foot comes forward, other foot on that diagonal, knee bent in the front. Just rest the hand, lean forward, hand's gonna dangle. And we're gonna pull, and then we're just gonna hinge for the hip. So you'll notice my front leg is not moving. I'm not straightening it. I'm not pushing myself up with the legs. It's all in the torso, in the core. So that's why that brace is so important here, to stabilize your back to give you some power. Good, keep it coming. Squeeze the back, squeeze the biceps. Just a couple more on this side. Last one. Whew. All right, we're gonna work some shoulders. I'm actually gonna switch to a lighter set of weights for my shoulders. I'll let you decide if you're gonna do that. You can ground yourself and stand on both feet for the full minute, or we'll do 30 seconds balancing on one leg, 30 seconds on the other. Let's lift to the front, just below shoulders, open up, squeeze the back, and come back down. Palms face down the whole time. So we're working the fronts of the shoulders as we lift out front, a little bit of the backs of the shoulders and the rhomboids as we open up and get a little squeeze in the upper back, kind of the upper part of our shoulder blades. Again, core is on. If you want to pick up that foot, feel free. It'll challenge your core a little bit more. I just can't do it and look at the clock at the same time. Too much. Last one. Take a quick little break. Shake it off. You're using 2 feet, just take that break. Otherwise, we're going to switch the leg we're balancing on, palms face down. We lift, we open, we close, we come back home. Using that breath to help us. The exhale will help you through the hardest part. You get to decide what that is to you. Usually, it's a lift away from gravity. So when we're trying to pull away from gravity, holding us down, that's the hard part. Almost there. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, take a little break. Find some water. Feel free to shake it off, move around a little bit. Now, if you're just starting out, this might be your stopping point. If you're only doing 1 set, you can fast forward to the moves we're doing on the floor and continue with that. So you can kind of make it your own workout, all right? It's 30 minutes. We do this, what we just did, twice. Maybe you do it 3 times and skip the floor work. I'll leave it up to you. You get to decide, listen to your body, just do it safely. All right, let's start again. Grab our weights. Feet wide. Knees and toes pointed in the same direction. We're gonna brace. We're gonna lift up, grab something from the highest shelf at the grocery store, put it in a basket on the floor. We're gonna bend that one knee, other leg stays straight, and we're gonna push with that foot to come back up. Cross body movement, working that core, hinging from the hip as we come down. So we got the core engaged, belly braced. Exhale, helping us through the hard part, whatever that is for you. Strong feet, good foundation here. Let's do one more. And then release that arm down. Other arm comes up. Side 2. One side might feel better than the other. You might be able to do it with more ease. So the side that maybe is a little more challenging for us is the side we need to do more often to build strength there. All right, it's just like stretching. The side that's harder to stretch or we can't stretch as much is the one we should be doing more often. Good, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's finish this. All right, we're gonna come to that airplane. I used weights last time. This time I'm gonna use the tube. I'm gonna show you how to use that. All right, so 1 foot about in the middle. We can tip, brace, same thing, just lift up. Ooh, I grabbed a hard tube. We can also lift the leg, come back up. So arms are long, lifting up to the shoulders, but no higher. Obviously, you can tell with this harder tube, I can't get it even that high, and I'm working really hard. Keep it coming. Keep that core engaged. 2 more. Last one here. And now we're just gonna set up side 2. Now I'm gonna show you this type of band. I like to wrap it around my hands a little bit if it's long enough to. Same thing, foot in the middle, We lift out to the sides. This one's a little bit easier than the last one, as you can see. And again, we can lift and kind of lower, kind of moving back and forth into that airplane. It'll make you wobble a little bit, so you have to brace a little harder. And again, you can have the toes down, stay leaned over, squeezing back to the shoulders. Give me 2 more on this side. And I'm going back to the weights, finding our squat position. Any of these moves too, you can also do without any weight, without anything at all. Just contract muscles. We're gonna squat and lift. Pressing the feet into the floor to rise, keeping that connection to lower. Core is on. So we're transferring weight from lower body to upper body as we come back to lift the arms. It's not a big lift in the arms, just enough to feel the backs of the arms contract. You'll feel them soon enough. This is round 2. So they're already activated and saying, what are you doing to me? Whew. I'm making you stronger so I can do more things as I age. Maybe not even as I age, maybe just tomorrow I can do more things because I'm a little bit stronger. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm sneaking one more in. All right, one foot in front, other foot about 45 degrees, front knee bent, lean over, pull the elbow back. Don't move the legs, just lift up from the hips. So it's a warrior 1, if you're familiar in yoga, type stance, working the upper body, but the feet are strong, both of them here, stabilizing us. And obviously they're working too to hold us in this place. Keep it coming. Hinging from the hip, very important to keep that core engaged. You've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're gonna come up, change sides, set your base, front knee bent, a little bit forward, off we go. Same thing, side 2. Pull the elbow back towards that hip, squeeze your back. If it helps, focus on the shoulder blade. Kind of squeeze that to your midline. And then as we come up, elbow tucks in, squeeze the bicep. It kind of feels like I'm lifting up a drink. I'm filming this in June, so maybe I'm getting ready for, I don't know, summer activities and parties. A little margarita here, a little glass of wine there. Just remember, don't overdo it. Empty calories is what alcohol is. Good, last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's release. So again, shoulders, I'm changing to that lower weight. Again, you can ground yourself, both feet, balance. We lift up, open, close, and down. Nice strong core here. Not lifting any higher than the shoulders. Squeezing upper back as we open up. Nice and tall here. Again, you can lift that foot completely off the floor. I just find it a challenge because I'm watching a clock. It's kind of hard to do all of this all at the same time. Last one. Release, shake it off. Woo, set up side 2, or come back to both feet on the floor. Here we go, last 30 seconds of this set. Neck is long. I'm sure by now you've figured out the value in using that breath to your advantage. Exhaling through the mouth when it's hard, when you need it. 10 seconds left here, you got this. Feel those shoulders. They're saying hello. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good job. Take a quick little break, maybe a little sip of water. And then if you're coming down to the floor, grab your mat. All right. I'm going to quickly show, we have 4 moves. And I'm going to quickly show them before I come down to the floor, before we all come down to the floor, so you can see what they are standing, and then you can decide, all right? First one, push-ups. Everybody's favorite. Hands wide, feet away from the wall a little bit. We want to bend the chest towards the wall, 90 degrees, push with the hands to come back out. All right, next one, tricep raises. You're gonna be on your forearms here. So forearms come to the wall. We step back a little bit, just like our push-up. Spread those fingers, hands don't leave the wall. We just pick the forearms up, set them back down. All right, so we're kind of pressing the heel of the hand into the wall to squeeze the backs of the arms. Next one, mountain climber. We're on the hands. Again, stepping away from the wall, knee comes up to the center. We alternate sides, a little contraction of the abdominals. It's kind of like a crunch in this position. Last one, bicycle crunches. This time your back's against the wall. All right, take the feet out just a little bit. Keep the back on the wall as you start, and then we lift one knee, come across the body towards the other. So we just go side to side. We have that support of the wall behind us. All right, you get to pick. Otherwise, we do it on the floor. Most people know what that looks like, or you can figure it out as we go. We're gonna start in our push-up position. We're gonna do 30 seconds. So hands wide so you can get 90 degrees. You can be in tabletop, long push-up on the knees, push-up on the toes. Let's go, 30 seconds. You do as much as you can do. I always recommend coming to the middle, so like I am on the knees, long body, unless we're just starting out. So just starting out, you might want the hips a little bit higher, so there's not as much pressure on the upper body. If you've been doing this for a while, we might pop up on the toes to challenge ourselves, maybe even just for one. Good, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push back just a little bit, circle, shake out wrists, and then we're gonna set up for the tricep raises. So again, you can be tabletop, extended onto the knees, or fully on the toes. I like that middle of the road. Spread your fingers, pick up the elbows, lower back down. Pick up, lower back down. So you're gonna feel those triceps. They've already been activated. You're gonna feel them kick in. So again, if you need to, you bring the arms closer in this tabletop position. Focus on pressing the heel of the hand into the floor in this one, so we can kind of dig into the backs of those arms. Just like when we do bridge, we dig the heels in, we dig a little more into the glutes. Almost there. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's a sneaky one. Catches up on you. Shake out the arms. We're gonna come to that mountain climber. Wall. You can be on the knees or on the toes. I'll start on the knees. Here we go. So we drive the knees up just a little bit across the midline. We're lifting up the belly button, getting a little bit of a crunch. I actually find on the toes a little bit easier to maneuver, but you're gonna feel those triceps. You just worked a little bit. If you go faster, it's a little more cardio. Slower, you have control of the abdominals. You can squeeze a little harder. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down if you're on the floor. Flip it over wherever you are. And we're gonna find those bicycle crunches. Fingertips on the back of the head. We're gonna start nice and easy. And we just come across, lift the knee. Bring the elbow towards the outside of the knee. Now you can make this a little quicker in your transition. You can also start to lengthen the legs. So I will leave that completely up to you. We're lifting that shoulder and it's coming across the midline. You got 10 seconds. That's it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whew. Take a quick little break. Give yourself a little pep talk because we're doing that one more time. 30 seconds, each of those moves. Now you're starting to fatigue. So this is where you maybe start to use your options. All right, push-up position. Maybe you should switch to the wall. Here we go, 30 seconds on the clock. Hands wide. I'm in tabletop. All right, a little less pressure on the upper body. I got my belly braced, so it's kind of like I'm doing a little bit of an abdominal crunch at the same time. You might lean out, a little more to lift and lower. Good, you got 10 seconds. Do as many as you can. Last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A quick little push back, shake out wrists, a quick little stretch, and then we're gonna set up for that tricep raise. I'm gonna do it from tabletop, because I'm out of breath and you can hear it. Whew. Spread those fingers. All we're gonna do, lift the elbows, come back down. Lift, come back down. So a little squeeze in the backs of the arms. Just a little push of the heel of the hand into the mat will really target that area. We just want to make sure we're not resting on the wrist. So the fingers are down too. Keep it strong. I'm sweaty. My hands are sliding away from me. I have to readjust. You got this. Just another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, a quick little break. Mountain climber, 30 seconds. Ready? Let's do it. Knees or toes. Again, we want to make sure we're not resting on wrists. We're spreading those fingers. We're driving the knee up. A tiny little cross in the midline if we can. I like to point the toes. Creates a little more space to maneuver. A little contraction in the abdominals. Almost there. I keep saying that, don't I? Here we go, last 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on down. Woo, flip it over. Last piece, just 30 seconds. All right, fingertips, back of the head, and let's go. You get to decide. You can keep it nice and steady, just like this. All right, you might switch. You might extend the legs. Do as much as you can, not pulling on the head. Push the head into the fingertips. So we save the neck. 10 seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, we did it. Take a moment here. We're gonna do a little stretch. I just want you to take a few breaths. Appreciate what you just did. Anything that feels good. Some people like a big long body stretch here. Some people want to curl in, stretch the glutes, massage the back. Good. One more breath. All right, and then we're gonna roll ourselves up. So you can either flip to your side, come up, use the knees to flip you up. We're gonna come to standing. Finding a wall if we need to, whatever we got, a chair for a quad stretch. So balancing on one leg, bending one knee, that's enough. You just wanna push that hip forward. If we can, grab the ankle or foot. We're gonna bring it towards our glute. We're gonna push that hip forward. You'll notice my knees are in line. So I don't have one knee way up here, ouch, that hurts. Or one knee way back here, hurts my hip. Neutral, that's all we wanna be. Breathe. If you can't reach the foot or the ankle, you can hold on to the back of your shoe or your pants. Good, let's release that foot. Toes down, toes up, heel down. Take a little bow. Feel the stretch in the back of that leg. Same leg that's in front. Let's just bring the arm across. A little stretch for the shoulder and the back. We're hinging. So belly button's lifted, core is engaged. Always off the mat too. Make that your practice. Keep your back safe. Push yourself up if you need to. Toes down, step back, lift the heel, tuck the pelvis under. Let's interlace those fingers, separate shoulder blades. Nice stretch in the back and the hip flexor here, the back leg. Breathe. We're gonna pick the arms up, hands to the back of the head as we step forward, and just a nice stretch for the shoulders and back here. We can draw the elbows back a little bit. And then release, we can shake out, quad stretch for the other leg. If you don't need anything to hang on to, I did that leg already. Then we can just counterbalance With the arm, same thing. We don't want the knee too far forward. That's going to put pressure on the knee. Too far back, pressure on the hip. The Goldilocks experience is what you're looking for. One more breath. Good, let's send that foot out front, heel down, toes up. Take a little bow, so get a nice stretch in the back of the leg. That arm's gonna come across. Just give it a little tug. We don't wanna tug the elbow. Somewhere in the forearm, always keeping our joints safe. You guys know, I'm a safety girl. Good, brace, pull yourself up, toes down, step back, lift the heel, tuck the pelvis. This time we're gonna bring the arms behind us like you're holding a big ball, or you can interlace, draw shoulders down, maybe even lift the arms up away from your body if that's accessible to you. Heart rate should be coming down. A good measure of fitness is recovery time. The fitter we get, the faster we recover. Good, let's release the arms, step forward, push the palms out like we're pushing two walls away from us. It always makes me think of Star Wars and the garbage compactor scene. And then give yourself a great big hug because you did it. You showed up for yourself today. You build strength. Maybe you're just learning. Maybe you're just starting and you're just chipping away at it. Keep coming back. I promise you, it does get easier. Take care, and I will see you soon.